All right, so I'm going to call me into order at 7:11. We have four of us. Mike is the only board member on location at the town hall. The rest of us are remote. Todd and myself. And I guess board members, my apologies. Thought I had sent the package out last week. Luckily, Kelly asked me about it. Really expecting it. You just get a bunch of materials today. So that's pretty good. Is there any public comment?
Public comment?
None.
In addition to the agenda, but we can't add any to the special meetings, so. Acceptance. Acceptance of the September 17th minutes. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from last month with a quick amendment too. I think under public comment, it didn't mention that Bob Askowitz had talked about the schools, you know, their discussion about schools on the Board of Ed level. I think we should just probably include that just for the record.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the specific comment you wanted included, Todd?
They had talked a little bit about the schools, the school sizes, the enrollment sizes, and maybe some future plans for looking at, you know, the facilities, schools as a whole, if we need to make them bigger or anything like that. I think we went on for a little bit. You know, it wasn't a passing comment. We had discussed it for 5-10 minutes, so I just thought it was worth it to put it in there. Maybe, I think he's on here if he needs to add anything else too, but I think that was the gist of it.
And Diane over there. Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second to?
Sorry, I was on mute. Second.
Okay. Any discussions? All in favor of accepting the minutes with the amendment? Say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Abstention? Okay, here.
Abstention, I wasn't here.
All right. Communication correspondence. There was some correspondence that all of us had with the public on the educational cost sharing. Prior to that, I had some some conversation with the Board of Ed. But we have learned recently that the educational cost sharing, both the amount of funds that are coming back have increased recently due to the new formula. And that money needs to go back to the Board of Ed. It's not able to really stop in the general fund. So that's what's going to happen.
So Jeff, just for clarification, that's new legislation?
Yes.
So that we were right by not doing that in years previous. We were okay with that.
We probably, it's possible we should have done it differently in the past fiscal year.
You're talking about excess costs, is that?
So there.
Yes, excess cost.
Sorry.
Well, we have, yeah, okay, I can, so that's new legislation though that, do we know
For a new
that?
formula.
Kelly?
My understanding is it's not all that new. I'm not sure when it came, but it hasn't necessarily been an issue until last year because what we received was very close to what we had budgeted.
Oh, it's just
So
beyond
there
that.
was, this past
Okay.
year, we had like 200,000 extra, I believe, over what, so that,
I just don't remember having this
because
conversation.
it was never.
Right.
So I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, since
the
we
law,
exceeded
but
it.
it's never really been an issue until fiscal '24 because We had so much extra from the
I
budget.
guess my concern is if it was the law previously, and we were $5,000 over.
So the Board of Ed always returns money anyway.
Okay.
So in essence, like,
They gave it
it's
back.
okay.
Okay.
It's just, it was more like paper.
You understand my concern?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't like being surprised after 15 years.
No, it was never an issue because the Board of Ed gives back money every
Right.
year. And there was never, like, it never exceeded that situation.
Is there a threshold?
Whatever is in the budget,
Yeah.
anything over that needs to go back as a
Okay.
credit to expense. And that will be done starting this.
Going
fiscal year.
forward?
Yep.
Thanks. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. We also received I received correspondence from the Board of Ed at the end of September about that they're using $31,000 out of their non-lapsing fund for the middle school, high school field. Thank you to the Board of Ed for that. Had some correspondence with the select woman and the treasurer about the nickel or NIP fund. Maybe where I just saw an article in Current about there's a deposit on those little nip bottles and based on what time it's sold in. Since inception, we've received about $14,000. There's a restricted use, and just for awareness of the board, it's restricted use, and there's a policy that the Board of Selectmen has accredited to the RCC expense. So if you were ever wondering about those funds, I think it's been 3 years, so $14,000 over 3 years. I don't know, but happen to see it in pretty one day.
Kelly, do you have a remote that can turn this up just a hair? Because I'm not, Jeff's fairly mild, quiet spoken.
Did you get the views of that, Maya?
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard you, it's just, is that the volume? Oh, there you go.
Is there any other correspondence or communication anybody has to, would like to share?
I don't see anything from anybody.
All right. Okay. With that, let's go on to new business. So, Sarah, let's go to the activity calendar. So a couple of things to check on from last time. The calendar was presented. It was gone through the dates with info a couple of times. I'll just point out in April, our two. First of all, in February, I've been kind of dancing around for vacation a little bit to make sure that we're having critical meetings when the Board of Ed employees are here. And also, we want to avoid school vacations and since budget cycle well in the winter. I think February 19th, this might be the wrong day of the week for us. April 9th and 23rd are both Wednesdays. And then in May, I project, we don't know when the town meeting will be, but we kind of project town meeting and the referendum to move after that. I just put it on our calendar. That's it. I noticed a typo, so I'm going to put the typo in the date. But were there any comments or questions on the? Okay. Is there a motion to accept the activity calendar?
I'll make the motion,
To accept.
or second, whatever you need.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a new calendar subject to the data and up to. All right, continue 5-year capital infrastructure plan. So we want to hear, we can't add to the agenda, but it might make sense to hear about the capital request, especially the one that sounded that it was, that I missed on the information I had. So we want to go through our capital request first,
Sure.
and then what we'll do is we'll just we'll look at the capital request and then we'll
Okay, I sent you a new revised capital plan tonight, so I don't know if you had a chance to open your email, but I have some physical copies here, and I could, if you want to forward it to everyone, but they were just smallish changes. I just highlighted the request so you can see.
When did you have a copy, you said?
Oh, I bet you grabbed one. Yeah, it's right here.
yeah, I just saw that it was here last I was doing.
Oh, we had this one.
So I'll just go through the 3 requests I have tonight. They were approved at Board of Selectmen this morning, and I went through them with them. So the first one I have is for the $150,000 under land use infrastructure planning for construction plans to implement grants for the Village Center School Street project. So as most people know, we did win the $3.5 million steep grant for the realignment of School Street for the Village Center. And normally grants, you have to have matching funds and things, but for this one, all we needed was to pay for the construction plans to be done and the design of the street. We had 3 RFPs. We put an RFP out, a request for proposal. We put it out twice because we didn't really get a big response the first time. We did get 3 responses, one for $425,000, one for $214,100, plus another $79,000 for a culvert design. And then we received one for $183,525, which included the very important culvert design. There's a culvert that has on School Street that has to be redesigned. So,
Did you forward any of that? I don't see any bids here. We didn't get any copies of anything.
I think I sent the link to the RFPs.
Did we get that? Did I miss something, Jeff?
I know I sent them to the Board of Selectmen. I'm pretty sure I had sent it. I usually just send everything to.
What?
Yeah, you sent me, the email said briefly attached, and I could not get into the link, so I
didn't know you could.
attached, not there.
Okay.
So I'm just reporting to people now, so you're gonna have to walk us through this.
So the RFP went out through the planning department, and Robin did vet each company. Their companies she's aware of. The KSE is the KSE company was the one that came in at $183,000, and they've done this work for a lot of towns, a lot of bigger towns. So she was pretty excited to see that they did quote it for us. So that came in at $183,000. I know our request is only for $150,000. We do have $53,000 of lot sit money that we can use towards it. So chances are I wouldn't need the whole $150,000. And we also have $25,000 from the Village Center from ARPA funds that we could possibly use for it too. So I could probably whittle down the $150,000, but to be safe, I'd like to request the whole $150,000 I had in the plan.
What was I wanting to see? What was their quote again?
$183,525.
And you're asking for $150,000, and you're gonna probably have $33,000 some other way.
Correct.
Right, like between our.
We probably will not have to use the whole $150,000 either.
Because why? Why would they?
I missed what you said.
So why wouldn't we use the 150 though? Like, what's the?
Well, because I have 53,000 through LATSIP that we should be able to use for it. It can be used for infrastructure, for town infrastructure. And we have 25,000 of ARPA funds dedicated to the village center.
My only concern, usually we see the bids. You know, I'm not trying to, but when we're voting on capital,
I did send them to Jeff. I didn't realize he couldn't.
what, you didn't, you did get them, Jeff?
I didn't realize he couldn't open them.
Yeah, I'm looking at what I got. I haven't yet seen it. The link open now.
I don't have a real concern with this. What I have a concern with is we usually have something to look at to compare the
I
bids.
thought I did.
Yeah, I know,
thought
I'm
sent
just,
them.
we're spending $150,000 and we're kind of just going by word of mouth, you know what I mean?
Can we table this for?
I mean, it's nice to see you got 3 bids.
I mean, they were we submitted exactly what we needed for the design.
It's just, over the years, we did it a certain way, you know what I mean? We get, we have capital requests, we get bids. Generally, I'm the one asking for 3 bids because that's what I do at my business,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I had them. I sent them. I sent all my information to Jeff. I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Jeff,
If I had known he couldn't.
Yeah, I know it doesn't help Mike, but I see that you just sent them to us, and I can open the folder link from Tyke.
But it's a lot of,
They're usually pretty detailed, that's why it's helpful to get it, even like the day before, which you did, okay.
I sent it like last week.
He even sent it to me on the 17th.
Yeah.
I want to give credit where credit's due. I had it. It's just that it was bundled with the POCD thing. And that's what I thought I had the right, I thought I had the right document.
You just sent it?
Yeah, just like during this conversation.
Let me see that.
Yeah, I think that detailed it.
Yeah, 724, right? Taking minutes.
Oh, I see, yeah, I see what you got. Yeah. So the 3 bids were KSE?
Yep, Cardinal Engineering, WMC Engineering, and KSE Engineering.
All right.
And there's 5 files in there. When I try the next page, it just goes from one cover sheet to the next.
Are you able to open the mic?
Well, what I'm getting is something that, yeah, I got it. My phone doesn't want to open a PDF or whatever. There it goes. Well, I can read them when I get home, I suppose, but it's the lowest bid.
I don't think we can.
Well, the concern was, do you always go with the lowest bid? So Robin just vetted
Yeah,
it, and it was not,
We usually, I've been on a couple
Surprised.
building committees, you look at the bid and you look at what they're offering and compare.
yeah,
and
she
try-
did all that.
But, that's kind of our job too, you know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of.
Well, no, I know. I
Yeah.
thought you had a chance to.
Okay.
What's involved in this School Street redesign? And for those of us that maybe live under a rock, what's trying to be accomplished?
So basically, I just have to let someone in. Basically, it's designing School Street so that it would go around the liquor cabinet property and come out where Cumberland Farms does and eliminate where School Street dumps out onto Route 20. It's a dangerous intersection. There's been a lot of accidents there. It makes the village center project that's been in the works for many, many years. It creates the beginning of a walkable town center. It allowed us to be able to get more grants for sidewalks and things just because we have a project started. So it'll create sidewalks on School Street, little benches, and just the beginning of a nice center to the town. And it's checking off a box from the Village Center study that we did.
Do we have any plans?
Yeah,
Mock-up plans, where are they?
online.
Are they available, like you can just go to the website and click it up? Because when I pulled that up, there was no actual like site plans there and stuff, what their proposal was. So I'm trying to wrap my head around what we're paying for here. You know what I'm saying?
It's the construction and design plans for,
Just get the ball rolling so you can submit it.
no, it's already submitted. So we applied and got the steep grant
Okay.
for the redesign. So the steep grant will pay for the whole construction of it.
But the plans are in place.
The plans are in place. Well, no. So this is for the construction plans.
Yeah, that's what my understanding of this is. That
Right.
We're paying for them to mock up what we need to get the money.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Well,
I
we
get-
already have the money, but it's creating the construction plan so we can hire a company to do it. So we have the $3.5 million to do it. We just need the plans to give to the companies.
So this is part of the compliance to use the money
Correct.
appropriately?
Yes.
They're expecting us to put the plans together
Correct.
and then use the money.
This is the only portion we have to
Is there
pay.
anything, when you get these plans done, do they have to be submitted and accepted? And is this company taking responsibility for ensuring that they are acceptable?
Yes, this company
See,
will work with the steep grant to make sure that they are following the guidelines.
and that's in, I can't read the
Yes.
actual RFP, so yeah. Okay.
I think what might be helpful, what I looked up with a little research under the planning and zoning section of the town website, one of the top links is to the Lot Tip School Street RFP, and that top link, this could be for later too, but just so everyone, if they want to look at it, the School Street East Granby Lot Tip application revised draft, that goes pretty in depth with everything in the project there.
And I'm saying steep, but it's a lot of grant.
Where are you
Yeah.
finding that, Todd?
It's under the Planning and Zoning Commission, under boards and commissions on the town website.
Yeah.
And then if you just scroll down past the description, there's 4 links for the Lot Tip School Street RFP. And the top one was pretty helpful. It's like a 72-page.
Is the RFP that we're signing up to tonight on there? My phone's Lots at School Street RFP. Oh, here we go.
I think the RFP would just be for engineering and design services.
Well, that's what
That's what it is.
That's what we're
Yeah.
paying for tonight, Todd.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yep, tonight, yep. Right, but this goes in, mock-ups. I see a few diagrams on what it's gonna look like, just so people could wrap their heads around what it's actually gonna be for.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
So the next one was, so I talked about it this morning also for Ray Carlson, who's here tonight. He is in desperate need of a new office space, and we were able to work with the Granby ambulance to find him a home in the ambulance building. He just needs space to be able to work, and lay out plans, and have some peace and quiet, because right now he's working in the Public Works building. in the break room area. And it's not a proper office. So there's some costs involved, which I think are valid. We're asking only for, there's some HVAC costs that we're going to try to cover a different way, but this is for Gray Matter, our IT company, to help set him up with the hardware that he needs for internet, faxing, firewall, and that estimate I sent you yesterday was for $4,374, so I just put $5,000 in the plan for a request.
What's this jacuzzi, Ray? What's that? Is that for you or is that for the ambulance people? That's for everybody? All right. I'm kidding.
The reason is that
Watching it.
building's not on the town network.
So you're just trying to get connected so you can use it?
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I mean, usually I would like to see another bid, but it's such a small amount, I'm assuming.
They're the ones that know the system, so to bring someone else in here.
Yeah, no problem, yeah. That one I can get.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Gray Matter does all of our IT.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one where, I mean, we've had discussions before about whether, is 10,000 our right threshold for capital, is 5, but I mean, this is below what I'd be comfortable with getting true capital. I mean, or that we ought to be able to find this in operating somewhere. That makes sense. And we're going to come back and vote on these individually in a minute, but
Well, we have lighting came in at, what was that? An HVAC. So,
Yeah, well, the lighting is outside in a couple different spots. HVAC can be held off. We don't need to push that right now.
yeah, because he'll need some kind of airflow. No.
It was a closet.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
threshold of cost.
So we're going to be running that through operating, but. Okay, so the next one is for the plan of conservation development. I have $50,000 in 25-26. The Board of Selectmen did vote on having Tyke, who does our planning now, for them to do the plan of conservation development. They proposed a plan. Robin wrote a memo for us just explaining that normally a plan of conservation development would cost anywhere from $75,000 to $90,000. And according to their contract we have, and the town attorney did review it, they are able to do extra work so long as it's authorized through the town. So they've offered to do our plan of conservation development, which is due in 2026. They offered to do it for $50,000. And Robin can just get started on it. She can get started with public information sessions in the beginning of the year. She'd like to do, because the current one we have now doesn't have any public information input in it. So she thinks it's really important to do that. And she would like to get started on it. So that request would come out of next year's capital line.
We're proposing to move it to this year? Could we be paying it this year, or what's
We'd
the?
be paying it this year, yeah.
So we'd have to move it into this year's capital plan. You follow me? We can't spend next year's money on the cap.
Right.
So it would just reduce the available amount in this year's plan.
Right.
You could always shift, we could shift something back to next year.
Right.
Could I get an amen from somebody?
Yeah, I'm with you. We won't spend next year's money.
I did remove, I don't know if you saw it, I removed $35,000 from Parks and Rec for the Playscape because we won't be needing to request that. So that came out of this year's, which reduced our total.
Our infrastructure line was 200, now it's 150.
Right.
So my other concern is, go ahead, Jeff, I'm sorry.
What's her relationship with Robin? Is she a town employee?
She's a
Part of
consultant.
Tyke, right?
She's a consultant. Mm-hmm.
So we hired her through Tyke.
Correct.
I'm just concerned, I'm very concerned for $50,000, we have one bid.
Yeah, the 5,000 I could kind of swallow, but the 50,000 I get a little,
I know it's
I would agree.
10 years ago, so people might not remember, but for those that have been around a while, Mike, maybe you could help. Do you remember
How much it costs?
on the left? Yeah, I know it's a decade. Thought I'd take a shot, but yeah.
yeah, actually, it was 47,600, no, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, is this time sensitive, Eden? Like, you wanted to get this done like tonight?
She asked to do it just so she can get moving on it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'm cool
not
with that.
like life or death.
Could we get another bid, like somebody, just so, well, I have two concerns. One is, I don't remember how we did it past, but was the plan of conservation and development done in-house?
Yeah,
Or
and
did
it
we
was-
hire a consultant last?
Yeah, it was done in-house. I don't know if there was a stipend paid for it or not, but it was subpar, just there was no public input. It was a lot of copy and paste. It just wasn't a proper POCD, according to Tyke.
According to the
So-
person that wants us to pay them $50,000.
Well, she's saying that a bid would probably average 75 to 90, so I'm happy to get a new bid.
Yeah, I think, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, we're doing our due diligence by asking for
Yeah.
that, I believe, okay?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think absolutely have to have a bid.
Yeah, with something this big too. Yeah.
Plus, you get another opinion that way, like an outside, if you, I kind of like to hear different people's opinion of what we should be doing,
Okay.
you know? Not just from a financial standpoint.
So is that it? President?
Yes, that's it.
So we're going to table the plant conservation development one. So the other two, why don't you just go to one at a time on those? So the 4374 for the office. Is there a motion on that?
Which one are you asking for, Jeff?
The gray matter,
I'd make a motion to submit for town meeting a sum not to exceed $5,000 for refitting the ambulance building IT room and with all unexpended funds, subject to town meeting with all unexpended funds returned to the town.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
was that Todd Zessen who seconded?
Yes.
Yep.
When you second online, just say your names.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. If you're a tie, you have to give your last name.
There you go.
Yeah.
At least in
Yes,
initial.
I Todd David Zessen. Second.
Very good.
I mean, my only comment, I'm going to vote no on this because I don't think we should be entertaining an officer flow. You guys should have an office for sure, but just come out of operating in my vote. All right.
So that's discussion.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Nay. Abstention? All right, motion carries 2-1. All right, and then we have the KSC one. Or, well, not the KSC one, but the School Street one. Is there a motion on that?
On which one, Jeff? I'm
The
sorry.
RFP.
School Street realignment?
Oh, the School Street, yeah. What's the timeline on that, Eden? I mean, is that like, are we up against a wall? You're concerned we're going to lose money?
We don't want to lose the 3.5.
No, we don't, but do you know what the timeline is for that, for us to make a decision on that?
I know it's going to take a while to get the plans done, so I don't know an exact date. I know Robin was hoping this could be done earlier, but I mean, I can get an exact date, but if the sooner we can do it, we can start meeting with them and having them work on it.
Yeah, I'm all in favor, but I just would like a chance to review what we have here for the RFPs, but I just don't, once again, I don't want to mess something up. I don't know how everybody else feels about it. But
I would rather take the time and look at it, but I would also ask,
I mean, I thought you had the time. If I had known you didn't have it, I would have sent it to you.
yeah, no, it turns out I did have it. I didn't know I had it. But I have a process suggestion after we're done talking about when I saw the results first. But anyway, I would.
when's our next
I
meeting?
will also, well, our next meeting is the 19th. I will go ahead and look for whether the 12th works for people. If we can get a quorum in a room, I'll push it up a week, and that will give us 2 weeks from now to look at this. I've also heard, like, we may not even need all 150, so I would like a tighter number. If we really don't need all 150, I'd rather just approve what we think we need.
Yeah, if you could firm up that number for us so that we could vote on a number that you think would work. I think that's kind of what you're saying, Jim.
Yeah, exactly. But does it want to table this then? We never got a motion on it. I don't think we did it. I'm not going to table it, but I'll pause if anybody wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to table it.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second it. I agree.
That's good. Okay, all-
That's, yeah, sorry.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions, direct yes. All right. So I think the process thing I just mentioned, I do send out a package to the Board of Finance about a week prior to the meeting. So I don't know what I did a week prior to this meeting, but I did everything but send you guys all the nice material I had. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I include the general government on that and the Board of Ed. So that way, when people, if you see the package and your stuff's not there, get to me really quick. That way you know I missed it. But that's also going to be, I know one of our policies is to kind of get materials here for me about, I think it's like 6 days prior so that I can just assemble them and get them out. So let's try that. Just when you have materials, if you don't see them in the package, get to me, say, hey, what about this? That I think that'll be a fail-safe for at least under help us. And my apologies even for missing that. Are there any other,
Were we talking about the fire department? Or no, you don't have that for tonight? Because this is, I got the color version. It's highlighted.
Those have already been approved for town meeting.
Oh, from at the last meeting?
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Okay, thank you.
Missy, I know we were trading some emails about Board of Ed capital items. I don't know if you have any or don't have any.
Sure. At the last meeting, I did discuss the overall 5-year capital plan. I can go over that again in the hopes that there will be a vote to approve the 5-year capital plan for the Board of Education. The Board of Education did unanimously approve it at their September 9th board meeting, and it was on one of our agenda items, I believe in October. So separate from that, I am prepared to talk about some considerations for capital requests that would be preferred prior to the end of the school year for a variety of reasons. I can talk about those tonight. I do have some quotes, but if you are going to do a Board of Finance meeting in 2 weeks, that would give me a little bit more of an opportunity to put everything together in a nice neat packet, as I typically do for you.
Were you hoping, you were hoping to get some of these on the meeting for November 19th or whatever it is? Or you're just giving us a heads up for later on in the year?
When I found out there's a town meeting for November, I was trying to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not have more town meetings, so, it's good to coordinate them.
Yeah. I'm just curious if you want, at first I thought you were talking about stuff you wanted to highlight for later in the year, but you do have some specific
I do, but I
Yeah.
don't, I'm not as prepared as I usually am with all the quotes that we typically have. So would you like me to go over the overall capital plan first, since that, from my understanding, I don't think that's been approved by the Board of Finance yet?
We are supposed to,
Well,
we are supposed to be,
Yeah, we did. I'm talking over my clip.
yeah, it's okay, go ahead.
As I say, I know we went through it before that whole plan last meeting, so I would ask if, if people have questions, maybe we can ask you questions, otherwise, save your repeating from last month. And then the second question I would have for the board members is, my preference would be to have a full package and think about it and act on it in 2 weeks or whenever we have a meeting. But if it's worthwhile to just get the headlines, here's the things that are coming, kind of a short overview. We don't really, approximate on that right now, but I'd be open to that. Any thoughts that the board members have? But first, any questions about the capital plan?
I can provide you with, I'm sorry, Todd, I interrupted you. I think. I said I can provide you with the 4 items that we will be looking to move forward and then put it together for 2 weeks, if that's acceptable.
Just what they are.
Sure. So looking at the capital plan for 24-25, there are 4 items that we would, the Board of Education voted at their board meeting last night to approve. This comes from our facilities subcommittee meeting that we held last week. The first item has to do with our camera system. It's a total of $52,000 for security cameras, as well as a server and software. Each year, we put in about $10,000 to $15,000 to be sure that we keep up with our camera systems. We have a few areas we need to provide some coverage throughout our buildings, and we're also switching from analog to digital. We use 3-way communication for all of our camera systems in district, and we would use them for this one as well. We also have a school safety grant that we are aligning this with, so there will be some reimbursement to the town at the applicable rate, which I believe is about 46%. Don't quote me, it fluctuates a bit. So anything that we use, we will put in for reimbursement, and then that funding will go back to the town. So that would be a total of $52,000. And essentially, in our capital plan over the last few years, we have had that about $10,000 to $20,000 every couple years. For this year, we just moved it into 1 year so that we can utilize the grant funding for it, or the grant reimbursement, I should say.
So just looking at this, what you're doing is you're taking, I'm just looking at this, that's a $40,000 and the $12,000 that you have in the 2 different line items here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mr. Malloy, in the past, that $40,000 was actually spread over 4 years. So it
I
was like-
see, yeah, I brought Glasgow. I always like to look at what we were talking
Yes,
about last
exactly.
time.
So we just took it and moved it into 1 year to utilize the grant reimbursement.
Perfect.
Okay. The other item we would be looking for is the parking lot and sidewalk repairs for $20,000. We do have a quote for about $7,000 for the nosing on our concrete steps, the metal, I think nosing is the correct term, right?
Yes.
Mr. Carlson. The nosing has come off, so it's a little bit of a dangerous area. Sometimes you have the kind of the nail or the bolt that's sticking up, so we do have a quote to repair that, as well as some of the curbing, particularly around Allgrove School. Our parking lot has had some trauma over the last few years, so we need to repair the curbing. The other item we will be requesting is the knee wall with power. Again, I'm still under 24-25. I'm now under high school. It's the last item on the first page. We have a computer room in one of our shared spaces. We would like to redesign that space to be more of a typical classroom and move some of those computers into our library. And to do so, we want to install call it a knee wall, a shorter wall with outlets for computers and electrical access. And then the last item that we will be requesting, it's on the second page under Seymour School. It is the Seymour School gym air conditioning. This has been on our capital plan. Originally, we were looking at pricing a unit, a rooftop unit. However, it has been recommended that we move to mini splits. That is what we've done at Old Grove School. It is working well. So the cost is significantly less than the original cost on our capital plan. Probably around, it's $18,000 for 3 mini split units, including most of the work except for main electrical to, which would be about $5,000. Roughly. So about, probably not to exceed $25,000 as opposed to the 70, which was our budgeting amount from last year that moved to this year.
But if we had another week and a half to work on it, I can come up with a lot more detail.
Yeah. And that one in particular would be more valuable earlier than later because to get people to do the work, to schedule the work, if there's supply issues, which we've had, if we wait to the end of the school year, we're going to lose out on the spring and possibly next fall, which are obviously our hotter months. And just to remind everyone, Seymour School Gym, there is no auditorium in Seymour School, so that is the space where we do all of our school meetings, when our parents come in for events and stuff. So it does get quite sticky in there.
You can use that for heat too, right? Because you got,
Yeah,
Yeah, they are both.
it could be.
Could be, yeah.
It would be a good backup
do you guys use it at all in the rooms, like when you have that?
all the time.
For heat?
Over at Algrove,
You set the temperature to...
it saved me from starting the boilers extra month.
That's what I said, that's what I do at my house.
I think it's huge savings.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, it's a great idea.
The later you start the gas guzzling and oil guzzling boilers, a lot more money goes in the bank.
Right. Plus you got $40,000 savings up front.
Right.
Any questions from you? All right, so we'll look forward to that as well. All right. Our next item is to actually approve the capital infrastructure plan. Well, I'll start with a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the capital infrastructure plan as submitted. Is that what you called it?
That's
Capital,
well, that's what I would have called it if I was calling it.
or capital plan as
Is there a
submitted?
second?
Second it.
Any
That's
discussion?
fair.
Yeah, I'll just point out, I mean, we talked about a couple items today that aren't right now actively reflected on there. That'll change in 2 weeks, but any month we approve the plan, there's going to be something that'll change that, within the next meeting or two, so I think it was fine to go ahead and get it on the list. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Abstention? Carries. Receive audit status. I thought a lot about what verb to use on this line, but this really is just an official, and it actually has to tell you unofficially, not what it means to, but just a sense of when you might want to be thinking about scheduling the auditors to present to us. If you have a sense, certainly I'll reach out to Mike, but and I think you already told us not November, probably December.
That's my guess. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did he do January last year, Jeff?
I believe it ended up being January last year.
Yeah, because I think his December schedule is busy. So, so if you want him at if we're going to have a December meeting, because I know sometimes the board does not have a December meeting, but if you're going to have one, I would say schedule him sooner rather than later. And I don't think there would be any issue with him presenting in December, other than his calendar. And I think last year we may have not had a December meeting.
Yeah, we didn't call it last December, and every year I put it out as subject to call. So it's probably something we'll make a decision on in our next meeting, whether we're even going to have the December meeting or not. I think, depending on whether there's anything urgent going on.
Okay.
All right, thanks. All right, so let's go to monthly report. So I received, some of you received recently, Board of Ed financial for July, August, and September. I mean, I see Mary on the call. Mary or Missy, do you want to walk us through any highlights? And, you know, at this point, I would focus on September unless you really want to draw attention to something in one area.
I believe.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I think July and August, basically nothing happens in July and August, so I will focus on the September ones. We have the majority of our encumbrances in September. We're still waiting on a few more of the annual ones, but not much has happened in the first 3 months. We're not over on anything. So I'm hoping for next month that we have a lot more of our annual encumbrances so that we'll know exactly where we stand, but right now there's really nothing to point out that's out of line or out of budget, so.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mary or Missy? All right. Let's go on to the general government.
So the fiscal year actuals through September were 27% spent of an annual budget of 5.6 million. So we're at about 1.5 million spent. We're trending lower than the annual budget by 177,000. And some significant line items are some savings that we have are line 3400, the RCC is trending below budget by 57,000, triggered by lower salaries and operating expenses, offset by lower than planned bulky waste fees. We are saving a lot of money in hauling and tipping expenses. Line 1700, the fire department's tracking below budget by about 25,000. The reason for the change is operating expenses are lower than the planned budget. DPW is tracking below about 24,000. And the reason for the change is overall operating expenses are lower than the planned budget. Salaries are a bit higher due to salaries are trending higher due to a portion of the budget that was allocated to the RCC salaries and not to DPW salaries. The budget transfer will be posted in June to true up those salaries. They were just put in the wrong line. In summary, we anticipate ending the fiscal year trending under budget, right now at 177,000, like I said. So that's about it.
I asked this earlier. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
I was just asking if anybody had questions, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was jumping the gun. So could we get the line items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring the line items.
It's just so much more useful to look and see, because
I
otherwise.
can send them tomorrow
Yeah.
or when Jay
Appreciate it, thank you.
done. Yep. So in future months, I'll get you that.
I have them going back years, so it's good to go
Yeah.
back. Sometimes I have a question like, what were we
Yeah.
spending on this 10 years ago? It's
Yeah.
really useful, you know. Thank you.
Well, can you share a little bit about the bulk waste? You're not getting as much as we thought in terms of the,
Well,
because that's new this year, right?
Well, we're right. So it's now that people are paying for bulky waste, they're realizing they can actually recycle a lot of what they were putting in bulky waste. So a lot of it's going in the recycle bin, which isn't any cost to the town. A lot of it's going into the metal waste, which not any cost to the town. We actually make some money on that. Therefore lowering our hauling expenses. We were hauling twice a week. So now we're probably down to like maybe once a month hauling, and that's less tipping.
Do you keep like a head count of how many people come through every week or month?
Public Works does.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much that went down.
Yeah.
Because it was, anyway, thanks.
Do you have, I know you're posting for finance director, has Jay moved on and
We did hire someone. They start on the 8th. So Jay's last day will be the 14th. So you'll see her at the...
Did you get more applicants this time?
Yeah, we had a lot of applicants, actually.
That's good.
Yep.
Any other questions for you? All right. Kelly, the treasurer's report.
Yes. State revenue, slow to come in as usual. Heidi, our newer tax collector, is doing fantastic with her collection rate. Interest and building permits continue to be trending favorably. And I think those are the only highlights right now. Yep, that's all I got.
You know the overall effects of the August 1st due date tax to this year?
The total effects of what? Sorry?
There were no real ill effects for deferring the tax due date by a month.
No, I mean, we probably lost some little interest, but other than that, no, we were okay cash flow wise.
You didn't go to use the credit card and they denied it or anything, right? That's good.
Yeah. All right.
Jeff,
Okay.
I know, public comment, I just wanted to make a comment.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
let's vote on the financial report.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the financial report?
I'll make the motion to accept it.
I'll second Mike. Todd Zesman here.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Right, carries. Okay, public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I just wanted to mention, we have our fire study meeting monthly. We've been having it monthly for a couple of years, and we're gonna whittle that down to quarterly. I did mention at the September Board of Selectmen meeting that we'd like to form a committee, the Fire Study Apparatus Committee. So we'd really like a Board of Finance member to join, just to talk about the future of fire apparatus. So just throwing it out there. I threw it out to the general public to see if anyone, I haven't heard back from anyone, but just if anyone on Board of Finance would be interested in joining it. The meetings would be quarterly, so it's a little bit easier than meeting every month. So it'll be the first Wednesday of every month. I think January, it's the second Wednesday. Yep.
Is that a change in focus? So is there going to be two groups now, or it's going to be focused on apparatus?
We're going to focus on apparatus. The fire study meeting will probably meet maybe right before it or right after it, but we're still going to have that meeting. But this is just talking about apparatus. So just for people to think about.
And you said it's the first Wednesday starting in January.
Yeah, January, I think the first Wednesday is the first maybe. So we're going to do it the second Wednesday in January.
Okay. Anybody here?
What'd you say? Sorry.
I'm just asking if anybody who's at the meeting, any board members
Oh, no.
are interested in other.
Maybe.
You're putting them on the spot right now.
Yes, I know. I was in case if someone who was dying to get on. Okay, I'll reach out. All right, any other public comment?
I don't see any online. Nope, none in person either.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Since I'm the only one here.
We got a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. Thanks, none.
Okay,
Aye.
8:11, you're adjourned.